What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is doing well, and what a game we had here. This might be the game of the season so far. The Celtics come away with a gritty win against the Minnesota Timberwolves, the final score being in overtime 127-120. Team now advances to 29-8 on the season. They're really creating some separation between them and the rest of the Eastern Conference. The Bucks are in second place right now, but there's a 4-game gap between them. And more impressively, the Celtics advanced to 18-0 at home to start the season. That's the best home start in franchise history. I know I've said this before, and I don't want to speak too soon, but this team continues to check off boxes. They could shape out to be one of the historic Celtic teams. This franchise is legendary. It's the most accomplished team in the history of the sport, and they've had historic home starts in the past. So being the team that has the best home start in franchise history speaks volumes and might foreshadow what's to come. But anyways, let's get into the game, and this is an interesting one because it kind of went backwards. If you've been watching this team for years, you know this team has a bad habit of moving the ball early, which is great, but by the time the fourth quarter rolls around, crunch time rolls around, the offense stagnates. And I say this game went backwards because I felt like in the first half there was too much ISO going on, too much settling for jump shots, but by the time the fourth quarter came around and crunch time came around, they were sharing the ball well. It even got to the point I thought they were being too passive. They were passing up great shots, but honestly for me, it was a welcome sight to see, especially when you compare it to other games in their crunch time offense. But why was this team so good down the stretch? Obviously the ball movement was good, but sometimes it's just as simple as Jayson Tatum. And I'm going to say this again, thank you to whoever pissed off Jayson Tatum. All that Tatum discourse on Twitter and Instagram, I think he heard it and he put it to rest now. People were saying SGA is better, Anthony Edwards is better, Halliburton is creeping up, but Jayson Tatum just played those guys, and listen to his stats over these 3 games. In those 3 games, Tatum has averaged 38 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 52% from the field, 55% from 3, and 82% from the line. There are just levels to this, and that's what Tatum showed tonight, dropping 45 points, 26 of those coming in fourth quarter and overtime. And I'm sorry, comparing guys like Anthony Edwards, SGA, Tyrese Halliburton to JT is just disrespectful. It's no shade on them. I'm a fan of them, and listen, I know this is just a regular season game in January, but we've seen Tatum do this in big moments in the playoffs when his back is against the wall. As fans, we just need to stop crowning guys too early. Everybody gets a turn. Halliburton's gonna get a turn, SGA is gonna get a turn, Ant's gonna get a turn. Right now, it's JT's time, so just appreciate it. Tatum really had his way in that fourth quarter, bowling his way to the rim, the sidestep 3, and even took on the challenge of guarding Anthony Edwards down the stretch on a few possessions. But it wasn't just JT who took the Ant Edwards assignment down the stretch, it was his co-star in Jaylen Brown as well. JB also had a phenomenal game, finished with 35 points on 16 shots, 11 rebounds, and at times I thought he was the reason this game didn't get out of hand. His constant pressure on the rim, getting to the line 13 times, really kept the team in this. I really think NBA Twitter and even some of Celtics Twitter owes Jaylen Brown an apology. He got a lot of crap for his contract in the offseason, but he's worth every penny. He's playing the best basketball of his career. More importantly though, I think this is the best stretch of basketball the Jays have had playing off each other. In this 10-12 game span here, 10 for Tatum because he's been out 2 games, JT is averaging 29, 8, and 5 on 46, 45, 86 shooting splits, while Brown is averaging 27, 6, and 4 on 54, 44, 77 shooting splits. But besides all the stats, just use the eye test. You remember in previous seasons, JB would come out scorching hot, and by the time the fourth quarter came around, he'd be casted out to the corner uninvolved. That has barely happened at all this season, maybe 2 games I could think of, and I think a big reason for that is the buy-in of these 2 superstars willing to do other things to affect the game while also understanding when it's time to take over. These 2 are reaching a new peak of cohesion, and them leading a comeback, being down 9 with 4 minutes to go is a testament to that. I think another reason these 2 are playing so well off each other is the addition of Jrue Holiday. Jrue has had a really interesting season. His box score doesn't always look great like tonight. He has 12 points, 4 assists, 5 boards, shooting 33% from the field, 20% from 3. But he's been elite in most matchups defensively, and he just makes the right play. When you watch him, you're like, thank God he's on our side, and tonight was a perfect example of that. He made one of the key plays of the game. The Celtics were up 122-120 in overtime with about a minute left to go, and Jrue steals the ball from Anthony Edwards on the sideline around the 50-second mark. The team has 2 timeouts. Joe decides not to use one. Jrue comes down the floor, patiently scanning, hits Tatum on the wing for the 3, and then what do you know? Kiss of death. Over. I'm sorry, but Jrue just making winning plays and Joe electing not to call a timeout and trusting Holiday just speaks volumes to the type of player he is. This was just a really solid win, and I know some Wolves fans might say, yeah, we didn't have Rudy, we didn't have Conley, but the Celtics didn't have KP, so it's almost an even trade-off. And even without Gobert, I got to give a lot of respect to this Timberwolves team. This defense held up so well tonight. All the guys out there are extremely versatile, physical, and I got to say, there's some young teams making leaps this year, higher up in the standings than some people predicted, but there's some questions surrounding them. Yeah, they might be a top 4 seed, but can they knock off one of those lower veteran seeds in the playoffs? I think the way those teams defend is very telling and foreshadows what will happen. So Minnesota, I definitely expect you guys to make it past the first round this year. You guys got it. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up right there. I'm sorry it's a shorter video. I got something to do early in the morning, but good news is we'll be back tomorrow. So if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. It's the best and easiest way to support. I'm here after every single Celtics game. Even if the videos are a little short, I'm always going to be here all 82 plus. I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Milwaukee Bucks, Drew homecoming. Peace.